Right, on my right is an iPhone 16 Pro Max running iOS 26, while the left one we have here is on iOS 18. Well, to start off with, we have the new lock screen here. It's now, I would say, cleaner, mainly due to the clock's now bigger. Now, all your notifications are hidden. Well, you can swipe up, that shows you all your notifications again. Now, focus on the notifications that are moving across the lock screen wallpaper. It's got a frosted effect and some subtle lens refraction effect. They call it liquid glass. Swipe down again, now only the clock stays, all notifications are hidden again. Face ID, not much has changed. Control center does look very different. Previously the background was more blurred and had a grey overlay. The new design is much more clearer, or should I say with higher transparency. You can see what's happening behind, and let's say you're playing a video. The colors just look more vibrant, it doesn't shift the original colors. Now, the most common scenario could be to turn on your Wi-Fi or switch to 5G. They've essentially turned it into bright white color from dark gray previously. Right, the new version of iOS also comes with the entire new set of system apps. Even the keyboard looks slightly different now. Well, let's dive right in. Right, it definitely took a while for me to install the new 26 series operating system on all Apple devices. Today we have here the iPhone, iPad, MacBook, as well as the Vision Pro. And I'm pretty sure you all already know about it. It's the iOS 26, iPadOS 26, macOS 26. So just keep the long story short. Without further ado, let's try out the new feature and the new design elements together, and what's actually new in terms of AI. Alright, speaking of AI, in the second half of this video, we'll be doing a massive showdown, just to check how's Apple Intelligence doing right now. Right, so I've installed the developer beta on all these devices. You can actually try it yourself, but is it really worth installing it on your device at this moment? First up, we'll be checking out the system apps, while the one I personally use the most could be Apple Music. There's a blur in the background and you can still see what's happening behind, and it also gives you that sort of real-time feedback. The old version simply doesn't have it. And here on the right, in the new version, it sort of responds to your fingertip. It's like highlighting the spot your finger touches, and when you do press it, it pops up. When you do let go, it pops up again. Right, here's a closer look, just in case if you missed it. Well, they probably didn't even consider how much load it's generating for the GPU at all. And now, the only concern I have is I'm not sure how well it runs on older iPhones, let's say the iPhone 11. Right, here's the updated dialog interface. Now, all white, at least in day mode. And it comes in a dual-tone design this time around with a grey function dock. Right, let's take a closer look. There's this sort of subtle light refraction effect when sliding across the dock. Not only is it popping up, but also lighting up when you touch it. There's sort of fancy, but still making sense, at least to me, even though they're on the edge of overdoing it this time around. So yeah, don't try to push it even further next time, Apple. Right, on the practical side, iOS 26 is expected to help you real-time translate. It works as a caption when you're on FaceTime. It displays captions showing what the other person says, translating it into, well, your language, and it also works during regular call as well, providing real-time translation. But at the moment, I would say it does come with a few limitations. It only supports English and a few European languages. In comparison, it's worth noting Samsung, Xiaomi and Asus are delivering a much wider selection of languages. Here's another AI-assisted feature. It actually allows you to screen your incoming calls. It basically tells you what kind of call it is, so let's say it's a spam call. Alright, the redesigned photo gallery app we've all been asking for. It now comes with two sections. The first one shows you your photos by timeline, while the other one actually lets you to browse your albums and collections. Having both, well, it does make my life much easier, doesn't it? Speaking of taking photos, the magnitude of design changes, this might be the biggest change we've seen so far. Right in your camera app, this liquid glass design, well, literally everywhere. But now, with an empty black background, the light refraction effect is now clearer than ever. It's indeed really delicate animations here, and once you've picked a mode, the mode stays centered, with half of the neighboring modes visible. But when you switch to video or photo, you will only be seeing the photo and video modes. It's got some practicality as well. Do you remember when you used to switch frame rates? It was like from 24, 25, 30, 50, 60, 100, 120. That did took quite a lot of time switching between frame rates, didn't it? Now you can just tap on the format selection menu, 24, 25, 30, 60, 100, 120, all listed here and can be switched with just one tap. Well done. Oh, and I've just noticed, once you start recording, the back of the record button actually turns into this sort of semi-transparent, like frosted glass again. Cool or not, it's definitely your personal preference, but I must say they did put a great amount of attention to the details. That stands out due to the responsiveness and the fine details you're getting with the new version of iOS. Well, what might not be as standing out? Alright, let's talk about AI. So, the AI features we're testing out today are going to be more phone-centric, will be designed from a more practical perspective, which on your laptops, iPads, or even bigger devices, these AI features might not be as frequently used. As for the iPhone, now press and hold the camera control button. You'll be seeing two modes of interaction. Image search, it will analyze what's on the camera right now. It's more like Google Lens or Circle to search, honestly. But here on the left, the chat button on the left, I would say this is the real deal. It links straight to ChatGPT. How much are those two tickets in total in Hong Kong dollars? Right, it recognizes 700 yen, which is printed on the ticket. It recognizes there are two tickets in total, which is 1400 yen. Now, it further converted it to 70 Hong Kong dollars. Alright, here on Google Gemini, there's two modes of interactions as well. Gemini Live's the chatbot with real-time understanding of your surroundings through the camera and the screen. While you do actually get a very similar image search feature here. Right, in this case, let's say I've just got some leftover foreign currency here from the last trip. How much is it in total in Hong Kong dollars? Right, it recognizes the two banknotes from Singapore as well as the one from Hong Kong. They've both got it right. Alright, can you summarize this content of the leaflet? Gemini gave a more detailed summary this time around, while the ChatGPT version's more concise, but get the job done. In the meantime, this time around, on the iPhone, you can actually hold the side button, the power button, and the volume button at the same time to take a screenshot anywhere. Right, tap the Ask button here. It connects straight to ChatGPT again. Right, I personally use this feature all the time on Gemini previously, as it's not uncommon that on Instagram creators don't tag locations for their reels, and you have no idea where that place is. Now, with this feature, we can find it out fairly easily. Do you recognize this place in France?
Yes, I recognize this place in France.
Right, let's try again. Do you recognize this place?
Yes, I recognize this place.
Are there any other attractions nearby?
Here are some attractions near the Basilique Saint-Michel-Archange in Menton.
Okay, do you think if I can travel them all in one day?
Yes, it is very likely you could visit.
Right, both of them gave us a few suggestions and they both said it's possible. Right, would you suggest a plan, maybe a route, and show it on the map? Now, on the iPhone, using ChatGPT, it actually showed us a fairly detailed plan here. It gets the job done by telling you where you need to be and when throughout the day, while Gemini did a similar job here, but with even more details to the plan. And it also responded to my further request, as I asked if it's possible to show the route on the map. Now, Gemini did a really great job integrating Google Search and Google Maps. That makes sense, right? Right, this is something that I really hope in the future, a tight integration of iOS to ChatGPT will also get the job done. Tell me the weather forecast for the coming 5 hours in Hong Kong, then send the answer to Taco BB via WhatsApp. Right, it's the Siri situation on iOS 26. While with Gemini, your WhatsApp message is ready to send right away. Alright, the second test is something you might be using daily as well. What movies are currently showing in Hong Kong cinemas?
Here's a list of movies.
Again, Gemini searched the web in real time, while ChatGPT on the iPhone did found a few movies, but apparently all of them are like from a few years ago. Right, if I'm going for John Wick Ballerina in Causeway Bay from 7 to 9 PM, is it possible to purchase a ticket during that time? ChatGPT on the iPhone missed it again by not doing a real-time search telling me what time and where I can watch my movie, while Gemini here found the exact movie for us. Can you send this as a message to Taco BB via WhatsApp? Well, throughout the test, you can actually tell Gemini works really well integrating their Google Maps, Google Search, even third-party apps like WhatsApp at this point. Is Siri getting the update it needed within 2026? Well, we'll definitely check it out when they've finally launched it. Compare the Sony WH-1000X Mark VI to the Apple AirPods Max.
The Sony WH-1000XM6 are a fresh release in 2025.
Well, Gemini here basically combined generative AI and web search. We've got all the design, specifications, everything you could have been expecting. Well, on the iPhone, we've got a few links here, so basically it's a web search. Can you summarize all these in a table? Right, here on Gemini, the entire article is just generated, is now summarized as a table. So you'll be able to get all the information you might have been expecting with just a glance. I would say Gemini is doing a really great job here. Play the theme song of Lion King. Right, both the Android and iPhone play the right song. What about recognizing a song? Do you recognize the music that I'm playing right now? Right, again, on the iPhone, it's just redirected us to Apple Music, while on the Android, we've got YouTube Music here. Right, moving on to AI photo editing. This time around, we have the Xiaomi 15 Ultra using its built-in photo editor, the Sony Xperia 1 Mark 7 using Google Photos, Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra using its built-in photo editor as well, and finally the iPhone. So this particular photo was actually taken with the ultra wide-angle lens, and it's a photo of myself and the background, but let's say it's a passerby and we're trying to remove it. Among these four phones, I would say this time around, the Sony with Google Photos have the best result. Well, the Samsung's really close. Xiaomi did a pretty good job here as well, though I can tell it's AI generated. But then the iPhone. Right, for this particular photo, we're trying to remove the bus on the back so that we can focus more on the tram on the front. Xiaomi did an exceptionally great job here this time around. It even generated the sunlight with the shadows. Samsung did a pretty great job here as well. I can't really tell it's a photo generated with AI, honestly. Now, Sony with Google Photos tried to generate the missing pixels on the building as well, but it did mess up ever so slightly. And on the iPhone, well, let's try out another set of photos. This time around, we're trying to remove the phone I was holding and generate the missing pixels on my hands. As you might have heard, the iPhone doesn't really allow you to do that, maybe due to ethical or privacy issues. While on the photo generated with the Xiaomi, it's like, if you don't want the phone co-engineered with Leica, what about a Leica camera? Right, so Sony and Samsung, they certainly did a better job here. Right, I was having dinner myself, trust me. So Google Photos on the Sony 1 Mark 7 and the Samsung took the crown again. Xiaomi did a really great job removing all the dishes on the table and generated decent texture as well, though it tends to generate extra stuff. It's more related to the main subject though this time around, so I would give it a pass. Right, for this test, we'll be testing out their capabilities of generating materials from the nature, durian fruits in this case. If I absolutely have to rank, I would say Samsung took the crown here, then Xiaomi did a pretty promising job as well. The Sony 1 Mark 7 with Google Photos scored a passable grade. Right, so that's essentially everything new we have on iOS 26. Well, speaking of changes though, we might be seeing the biggest change here on the iPad. Right, so here on the iPad we have the continuity of the liquid glass design language here as well. So let's treat it as an iPad first. What I do appreciate though is that you are getting the transparent look here on the control center as well, swiping down from the top right hand corner. So when you pull down the control center while watching a video, it now won't be covering the content you're watching, though it will be blurred, but right, you're getting the idea. You won't be missing much of the video you're watching on the background. It's more like a soft, dreamy blur, like a bokeh, and it adds that sense of depth. I do truly think it's a pretty smart design, as it's only adding that depth or blur effect under the control panel is covering. Right, the music app is redesigned as well. All the buttons and design elements are now a continuity of the glass design, so you will be able to see through it and what's behind, and there is this distortion and refraction effect we've been talking about all along. But for the menu selection, we can either choose this more laptop or MacBook-like interface, or the iPad interface as well, which is coming with the same liquid glass design as well. You'll be getting a better understanding of the full picture when you switch to the File app, the File Manager app. Alright, here's the same sort of menu we've just mentioned. In my opinion, it does transform an iPad to more or less like a MacBook, and just one click, then you have the iPad interface as well. Right, the phone app is here on the iPad now. Right, WhatsApp's now available on the App Store officially for the iPad. The preview app here is new as well. What you can do with this app now is what you're doing with the preview app on your MacBook. You can dive right into the details information of a photo, crop a portion of a photo directly from here as well. While for other types of files, you can either draw on the PDF or even add a signature right there. And extracting just one page of your PDF file is now possible for free on your iPad with the preview app. Right now, if you do use your iPad as a laptop, it now actually behaves closer to a MacBook than you might have been expected. The cursor is now an arrow-shaped pointer, and when you do move it to the top edge, you will be getting this menu bar on the top, just like a MacBook again. Right, moving on to the app dock here. So it certainly comes with the liquid glass design. When you're watching a video or movie again, it's more or less like they're blurred, but still kind of readable. And when you do open the app library, the entire screen is now like semi-frosted. Now, I guess the point is you won't be missing out a whole lot of your movie or video while selecting the app. Right, speaking of floater window, this might have just been the largest upgrade since like the existence of it probably. This is like the final step transforming your iPad to actually a MacBook. So now down in the bottom right corner, there's a small icon there. You can just drag it to resize a window. You can even move it anywhere on your display, and having like a heart attack amount of multi-windows, one on top of another one. Well, it doesn't really have a limitation here. The only limitation I found so far will be the Final Cut Pro app. So this is the smallest window I can get on the Final Cut Pro app, but it kind of makes sense, doesn't it? I'm not sure how often are you going to open like 5 to 6 apps all together at once, but at least you have the option to do that now. Right, but if you do have an iPad that's coming with a smaller display, or you might simply prefer the classic iPad look, or even the Stage Manager, Apple still got you covered here. Alright, but here on my iPad, I'm using the windowed apps, so it's more like a MacBook. While there's one feature on the MacBook itself that could be bridging your Mac to the iPad to even the iPhone. This is how it looks like the liquid glass on macOS. So this is your new notification bar. Not much has changed here, it's transparent. The control center though has got some bigger changes. Right, what I'm really curious about is, let me play one of my own videos here. Right, it's got the same semi-transparent, refraction, frosted design elements here, so you will be able to watch a video while switching between those toggles. I would say the interface here on the macOS is now more aligned with the iPad. That's interesting. Speaking of the iPad interface, here on the macOS, here's your new apps library. The 4-finger launchpad gesture is now replaced with this app search. What impressed me though is now you won't be limited to apps that are installed on your Mac, but all the apps on your iPhones as well. And when you do click on the apps that are on your iPhone, like the YouTube app, the Google Maps, what you will be activating here is actually your iPhone screen mirroring here. Though it's not running locally on your Mac, it does feels like so. I must say the iPhone mirroring here is actually smoother than I've anticipated. Right, here's another change. Now on your MacBook, pressing the F4, the search button, it will now fire up the Spotlight search. The Spotlight search now actually comes with 4 different modes. The first one, you'll be searching apps with it. The second one here actually lets you search your files. So here I have a photo. But what about a specific background music soundtrack? I have them all here sorted by month, but let's say I really intend to find this particular one, the ES Chemistry. Right, let's try out the new Spotlight search here. Select the file, typing in ES Chemistry. There it is. This could be a day and night difference, especially if you have a large system which is loaded with files. Right, the third one's actually quick action. And the fourth is a clipboard. Now with this new interface, you'll be copying text from resources, then select it fairly easily here. Right, the last meaningful change to the interface, you have your file that can be categorized by using different colors, and there you have your icon engraved to your folder. Right, last but not least, you have the Vision Pro as well. This time around, not much has changed when it comes to new features, but we are getting the new liquid glass look here. We have a new persona here. Right, so this is a new me, which I've recorded. It now comes with more realistic 3D, I would say, and a whole lot more skin texture with your new persona.
In a moment, you'll remove Apple Vision Pro to capture your appearance. Take your time getting ready and make sure nothing's covering your face. To start capturing, hold Apple Vision Pro at eye level. Keep your arms and shoulders relaxed. Then, follow the instructions. And down. Then you'll capture your facial expressions. Smile with your mouth closed. Smile showing your teeth. Raise your eyebrows and close your eyes. When you've finished, put Apple Vision Pro back on to see your persona.
And here's the final new feature we'll be talking about today. We're actually getting this new spatial scene feature on the iPhone as well. But here on the Vision Pro, it's actually 3D, not the 2D flat display on the iPhone. So we are actually getting a 3D spatial scene, almost like in the real life, here on the Vision Pro. It basically turns a 2D image to a 3D one. Right, so all in all, I do appreciate what Apple is doing here this year, with all the new transitions and special effects, especially on the iOS where most touches and interactions are to be made. While on the AI front, I do hope Apple will double down on integrating ChatGPT into their own system. The new Siri should perform the same as Gemini, if not better than them.